everybody bring a record.
Gotcha.
A record that they like.
I don't have a record player.
Yes, I can hear you.
Katrina Skills. Hi, I got you.
Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10 p.m.
That gun was bought to assassinate Police Officer Jewell for whatever reason this guy was thinking.
Now on News 6, we now know much more about a convenience store clerk under arrest and the officer who was shot and killed. But we still don't have a motive for a murder that has shaken a community.
Honestly, I'm very emotional. I just want to cry right now.
He was also an amazing friend and human being.
This was just pointless. There is no reason for him to have been shot down like that.
How a community is paying tribute to Officer David Jewell.
New at 10 tonight, 2 more arrests for 2 separate road rage conflicts by drivers accused of grabbing their guns. We're asking, what can you do to stay out of harm's way on the highway? Plus, a smelly situation in one local city. More than 23,000 gallons of sewage spilled, polluting the area. The controversial construction project that caused this mess.
And just in from NASA, a routine docking with the ISS delayed indefinitely. The mishap in space that has 11,000 pounds of deliveries on hold.
But we have to start new at 11 tonight with team coverage on the tragedy that has Edgewater in mourning and paying tribute to a fallen hero. Good evening, I'm Matt Austin.
I'm Ginger Gadsden. Thank you for joining us. This time last night, we broke news Officer David Jewell was shot and killed in a convenience store. Tonight, we are seeing just what happened inside that Circle K. We are learning much more about the clerk accused of what the sheriff calls an assassination. 24-year-old Eduardo Machado is accused of shooting Officer Jewell at least 24 times at close range in the head. Machado reportedly told deputies he had previously met Officer Jewell and had an argument with him, but he doesn't remember when or what that argument was even about. Our team coverage starts with your community correspondent, Molly Reed, who was there when Machado faced a judge.
You are Eduardo Felipe Labrada Machado?
Correct.
24-year-old Eduardo Machado went before a judge Tuesday afternoon. He's facing a charge of first-degree premeditated murder.
I went inside to get something to eat or get some chips, and there's a guy right there in the door dead.
That 911 call from a witness brought deputies to the Ormond by the Sea Circle K Monday afternoon.
To watch the evil and the calculatingness of what he did to Officer Jewell, you cannot describe it.
Volusia Sheriff Mike Chitwood showed us surveillance video of David Jewell at the store counter, Machado getting a gun from his car and walking back inside. You see him raise the gun before shooting Jewell 24 times.
That gun was bought to assassinate Police Officer Jewell for whatever reason this guy was thinking.
During their investigation, deputies found out Machado picked the gun up yesterday, just 2 hours before this shooting. He told deputies he had a bad day and had previously thought about shooting Jewell.
He said that he had an argument with Police Officer Jewell, but he doesn't know when that argument occurred or what that argument was about.
Machado told investigators he did not know Jewell was a police officer. Officer Jewell's wife told deputies their family often stopped at the Circle K since it was right by their house. A family member actually called her saying something happened at the store.
She then, Elizabeth, his wife, who used to be a dispatcher for us, goes and gets his police radio and turns it on and is listening live to everything that's going on. Everything that's going on. She hears who it was. She knows her husband was pronounced dead at the scene. She knows all this stuff before we really even get a chance to go down and talk to her.
That was Molly Reed reporting. Outside Edgewater Police Headquarters, people are leaving tributes on Officer Jewell's patrol car. News 6's Mike Valenti continues our team coverage, looking at how those who love the officer and those who never even met him are honoring his service.
Outside the Edgewater Police Department, Officer David Jewell's police vehicle sits idle, now adorned with flowers. When you arrived on scene and you saw his vehicle and the flowers in front of it, I mean, what was going through your head and your heart?
Honestly, I'm very emotional. I just want to cry right now.
Glorimi Manny did not know Officer Jewell, but today, that doesn't matter. His death does not hurt any less.
Every day he would come and clock in and work, and probably was put in more threatening situations and still was able to go home, and this was just pointless. There was no reason for him to have been shot down like that. Sad.
Yeah, it broke my heart. I used to be part of law enforcement. I know a couple guys that work here, and just as a community as a whole, I would think it hits home too.
We watched Tuesday as the flowers multiplied and as other first responders placed a hand on Jewell's vehicle. At one point, every media outlet turned off the cameras so Jewell's family could be in that space without feeling like they were under a microscope. And as Officer Jewell's family is now forced to sit with this indescribable pain, the Edgewater Police Department is asking anyone who wants to help to go to their Facebook page and click on a link for a meal train and for a GoFundMe page. You can find more information about those efforts on our website, clickorlando.com. I'm Mike Valenti, News 6.
I was out in Edgewater today anchoring our afternoon newscast from police headquarters, and I was moved by how a longtime co-worker told me she will remember her friend, Officer David Jewell, who she called DJ.
DJ was an employee of mine for several years in the Emergency Communications 911 Center for over 20 years. And he was also an amazing friend and human being.
How would you describe him?
Wonderful sense of humor, genuine, kind.
And that kindness has just been ripped from the community now. And so many people I was able to talk to out there today, even the ones who did not know him, thought it was important to come out and just pay their respects to him. And of course, you can find more tributes to Officer Jewell and a detailed look at the surveillance video from the Circle K. Look for updates on clickorlando.com.
New at 10 tonight, it happened again, not once, but twice over the weekend. Two drivers locked up, accused of not just threatening others behind the wheel. Detectives say in both cases they grabbed guns to make a point. Your Orange County community correspondent Troy Campbell looks at a frightening road rage trend and asks a former sheriff, what can the rest of us do to stay out of harm's way?
The 37-year-old suspect from Friday's incident is still locked up here at the Orange County Jail. With several recent road rage incidents, we spoke to a law enforcement expert about ways to stay safe on the roadway.
What goes through your mind when I tell you just over the last 4 days, there's been 2 people arrested in Orange County for waving a handgun at another driver in an apparent road rage incident?
It causes major concern.
Former Osceola County Sheriff Russ Gibson says driving in Florida, you should always assume a driver has a firearm.
Firearms are so readily available, and I think without thinking, sometimes people's tempers flare. They know it's there. Instinctively, they could grab it. Meaning to or not, they could fire that shot, kill somebody, and end up in an 8x8 cell with their elbows on their knees, their hands on their face, looking at where they're at, and that's when remorse kicks in, and it's too late then.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office says on Friday, deputies showed up to Dean Road and Winder Trail after a driver said 37-year-old Gregory Anderson, quote, brandished a black handgun while threatening to kill the victim in a road rage incident.
Many of these folks, once they lose the temper and they act out of rage, road rage, they don't think about the charges until they come later on when you're facing a felony offense.
On Sunday night, deputies also say they were called to 39th Street and Orange Blossom Trail for a road rage incident after a man said he was driving with his wife and toddler when 41-year-old Luell Joseph, quote, pointed a black firearm at him and began shouting.
It was a road rage incident.
Back in June, we showed you how 33-year-old Stefan D'Souza was arrested. He's accused of using a Glock-style handgun to threaten a family visiting in the heart of the tourism district near International Drive in the Beach Line.
Your name, ma'am?
Haley Miller.
In July, 25-year-old Haley Miller was arrested after a woman named Ava Hubble told us Miller waved a gun at her while they both were driving along West Kelly Park Road.
She tried to hit my car and run me over. So I tried to get on the side of her, and my windows are rolled down because I don't have AC. Sorry guys, I'm just a girl. But she pulled her gun out on me and was trying to shoot me.
And Gibson also says if you do feel like you're being followed by another driver, drive to a public place and dial 911 immediately. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
23,000 gallons of raw sewage spilled in Oviedo last week. The mayor posted about it on Facebook and says the spill never should have happened. She tells Oviedo community correspondent Catherine Silver the city never should have built $1 million pipe in the first place.
Right now, the city of Oviedo has over 80 water and stormwater projects, things it wants to fix or actively working to improve. This is one of them. It's happening right across from the Oviedo Aquatic Facility, where construction is underway to extend a reclaimed water line. This work being done by a contractor is what caused a sewage spill. It's spelled out in this document from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection that says over 23,000 gallons of sewage polluted this area on September 10th. None of it was recovered in the cleanup. You believe this whole spill could have been avoided.
At this point, there's a policy decision made. Here comes this giant reclaimed water pipe, and they hit a sewage line on the way.
Mayor Megan Sladek voted against the project in the first place.
I think the entire city has noticed that the medians are growing quite abundantly without the irrigation that has actually been installed. At this time, there is no definite plan to add any additional landscaping.
The grass is green here, but there's another green the commission had to consider when they did approve this project: cash.
We could pass on this or not, but I think in the future we'll be doing it again, and again it'll be more expensive.
Seeing the way prices go up as well, I don't think we should push this one down the road either.
When city staff pitched this project to the commission, they said the pipe is part of the planning for a downtown expansion and any other future development.
What a lot of people don't know is we're working on a loop, a reclaim loop for the city. We're only a mile away from completing a loop, which to me provides service reliability for that chunk of the city.
But at present, council members who voted against the extension say it's a nearly $1 million pipe to nowhere.
It adds 0 new customers to the reclaimed water line at this time, and it costs a lot of money to get it there.
In Oviedo, Catherine Silver, News 6.
Well, after a dry and maybe even a little fall-like start to the work week, I'm being dramatic, rain chances are ramping up.
So dramatic. So let's check in now with meteorologist Jonathan Kekis. Jonathan.
I'm all for that kind of drama, guys. Give me that fall weather. Unfortunately, the humidity going to go back up again as we move over the next few days. Couple of showers we had late fizzling out. We're going to pinpoint that forecast in a few minutes.
New in minutes, a mishap in space. 11,000 pounds of supplies were due to be delivered to the ISS tomorrow. Why that's on hold.
First, though, they love to fish, but many fear what they catch is not safe to eat. The problem's plaguing a local waterway and a big project that could clean up the water and the wildlife.
Plus, new details and a picture you have to see to believe. How someone in a wetsuit robbed a restaurant at Disney and then swam off with the cash. You're watching News 6 at 10. Live on a Tuesday night, we're covering Intercession City, Kissimmee, and all of Central Florida.
I'm afraid to eat the fishes from these waters. Too dirty.
Now on News 6, many of the men and women who fish in Brevard County don't want the fish they catch. They don't want to eat it, fearing the water is just too dirty. Nitrogen and phosphorus released into the water from things like lawn clippings and fertilizer have killed seagrass and caused algae blooms in the Indian River.
Now a major source of that pollution is being redirected. News 6's Paul Giorgio took a tour of the brand new $23 million Crane Creek M1 canal project and explains where that water is now going.
When life moves a little too fast, Ryan James slows down.
Got that one.
With his rod and reel.
No, you're just relaxing, relax your mind, you know, somewhere that's peaceful.
Today, that means casting into Crane Creek near downtown Melbourne.
Woo!
But this is strictly catch and release.
I'm afraid to eat the fishes from these waters.
That's because for more than 100 years,
too dirty.
Drainage from homes, roads, and agriculture west of town has made its way through the creek on its way to the Indian River Lagoon.
This is about 5,400 acres of land that drain into this canal here.
That was until earlier this month, when the Crane Creek M1 Canal Flow Restoration Project came online.
This essentially brings the water back to where it had intended to be, into the St. Johns River.
The main feature of the $23 million project is this weir. It controls the water depth, essentially pushing it back towards the west.
So right here, underneath those steel plates are air bladders that are inflated through the compressors in this building right behind us. They're kind of made out of the same material that like a tire, a big tire is.
But engineers didn't build the weir just anywhere. You may not realize it, but there's a ridge that runs the length of Brevard County. You can see it in white here on this map. Now, it's only about 10 feet in elevation, but for thousands of years, that helped determine the flow of water in this area.
So historically, the water west of this area would have gone to the St. Johns River, and east of here would have gone to the Indian River Lagoon.
That was until the 1920s, when a canal was dug through the ridge between the St. Johns River and the Indian River Lagoon. From that point on, everything, including harmful nutrient-rich runoff, drained east into the lagoon, contributing to algae blooms and the loss of seagrass.
This is the intake structure from that canal.
Project manager Mark Van Heeden walked me through the process of pumps and pipes as we followed the flow west. And all that water eventually ends up here at the stormwater treatment facility just west of I-95. That's where it's cleaned before being released into a marsh on the St. Johns River, where it was always intended to go. Back in Melbourne,
Whoa, it's a sheephead.
James is looking forward to the day he can consider his catch
Oh, nice sheephead.
a keeper,
That one's gone.
and maybe even bring a few home.
Well, hopefully, let's see.
In Melbourne,
That'd be good.
Paul Giorgio, News 6.
At least I could catch more fish.
Just give it time, hopefully.
I love stories like that, making things better instead
Oh
of
my
making it
God,
worse.
instead of worse. Yeah, we already did that part. Well, the project provides up to 7 million gallons of fresh water per day for downstream use without over-reliance on the aquifer.
We're told the added water won't affect flooding downriver either. We're taking a look now at an update to a crazy story. This is the person Orange County deputies say robbed a restaurant in Disney Springs while seemingly wearing a wetsuit and goggles. I know you're saying, what am I looking at here?
The creature from the Black Lagoon
That's
is what it looks like. Yeah.
That's right. According to the incident report, 2 employees at the Paddlefish restaurant were in the manager's office early yesterday morning doing closing paperwork, putting cash into the safe when the suspect barges into the office. They said the person told them to get on the ground and close their eyes. He took the money and, according to a tipster, jumped into the nearby lake and swam away. About half the report is redacted. Once we know more information, we'll update you on air and on clickorlando.com.
That's an only in Florida story for
Yes,
sure.
it is.
New at 11, NASA says there's a problem with the next cargo carrier ferrying supplies to the International Space Station. So the Cygnus XL spacecraft won't dock tomorrow as it was planned. The launch from the Cape looked like it went flawlessly on Sunday evening, but this morning the Cygnus's engines shut down earlier than planned as crews were putting it into the right approach to reach the ISS. Now, this is the 23rd Cygnus built by Northrop Grumman. The manufacturer and NASA are looking into what happened and plan to update as soon as they try to reach the ISS.
All right, let's get you a check of your weather with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. We have a nice calm radar behind him, but things are going to be changing over the next few days, huh?
I think so, yeah. And we saw a glimpse of that tonight. We had the bulk of the downpour and thunderstorm activity along and southeast of I-4. Then we had a few of them sneak up into Lake County, West Orange, and parts of Sumter County late into the evening. Those have all just about fizzled out. Maybe a stray lingering shower hanging around Deltona, Casadega tonight. Otherwise, again, we are on the drier side, and we should be overnight as well until we fire things back up tomorrow, I think, at a bigger clip as we kind of transition back out of our relatively comfy stretch back to a more humid and active one in terms of our afternoon storms. You can track with the forecast and the storms out there with the free News 6 weather app. Quiet night at the port. Live look with our Launch Credit Union camera tonight. We have air temperatures back into the upper 70s. The airport reporting a few areas of mist out there. Otherwise, we have wind speeds at about 15 miles an hour. Kissimmee, good evening. We are at 77, 73 in Bushnell, 78 degrees right now in Mount Dora. Getting into tomorrow, we are going to watch the advancement of extra tropical moisture again. You see all the rain coming out of Cuba, the extra cloud cover going back to the Florida Strait, southern Gulf, and into the western Caribbean. That's where our front was over the last couple of days. We're going to start to get that push now back to the north, and that's going to reintroduce not only some of the humidity, but higher rain chances once again as we get into tomorrow. For that, here's a look at your forecast, timing that out. Overnight tonight should be on the quieter side as we're in and out of some clouds streaming back through from South Florida. Don't be surprised. Again, it's been the coast in the morning if we get a couple of downpours just right along the coast. Otherwise, we're dry. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're looking pretty good. And then we see a flare up of thunderstorms. That's 7 o'clock on your Wednesday evening. And then another push of moisture coming through late into the evening. So by this time tomorrow, we still could have a couple of downpours on the radar, something I'll be watching through the evening tomorrow. In terms of the forecast, rain chances at 40%. We're at 89 in Mount Dora, 89 in Groveland. Kissimmee, we're back to 87 as well. Melbourne, good evening. We are at 86 degrees. On the tropical front, there are two waves out there. One has a high chance, 90% shot for development. One has a lower chance. That guy is just rolling off of Africa as we speak. Neither pose a threat to Florida. However, this one is close to becoming our next tropical depression of the season. Over the last satellite check here, you see this area right here where we're starting to get those red areas to pop. That's where the low-level center is. It's finally trying to consolidate. So maybe as early as 11 o'clock or overnight, we'll have the next tropical depression of the hurricane season again. That one should not be an issue for Florida. You see the modeling on this one takes it to the west and then lifts it to the north. Pretty big dip in the jet stream across the eastern seaboard should send this thing packing far, far away from the Florida area, and I think even most, if not all, of the United States. 40% shot for storms tomorrow, Thursday into Friday. We're keeping that 40% rain chance right on through the weekend, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, food trucks, live music, art. For many, that sounds like a great Friday night.
Yeah, next at 10, your Castleberry community correspondent Alex Cook takes us to Lake Concord Park and shows us why a monthly event is growing in popularity.
I'm here at Lake Concord Park in Castleberry, where the second Friday of every month, the city hosts Castleberry food trucks with free live music, art, community, and of course, delicious local food.
Providing a lot of free events and events that people can just walk to, people can ride their bike to, people can drive to. The hope is that we get a lot of people saying, you know what, maybe I might consider moving to Castleberry, may sit there and do business in Castleberry.
Once a month, local food trucks cover the parking lot next to Castleberry City Hall. Free live music fills the air around Lake Concord Park. A main event and smaller performances at the nearby Sculpture House.
We've been coming here since our kids were in elementary school. They are now graduated from high school, graduating from college, so we've been coming here for decades.
We just walk here, so it's a nice walk too.
September's performer was Kat Ridgway, an indie rocker who's toured across the country, using live looping to make her solo show feel like a full band performance.
They happened upon me somehow, thank you, for paying attention to the local scene, Castleberry. This is one of my favorite places. I mean, look at that tree. There's just moss hanging. It's so aggressively Florida. It's awesome.
The food truck event is once a month, but it's not the only time to catch free live music in Lake Concord Park. This Saturday, they're hosting the Latin Jazz and Art Festival, which the city's event coordinator, Lynn Hoppus, says always draws a crowd.
We do put on 12 to 15 live music events a year that are out here in the park for free. We want people to be proud of where they live, where they shop, where they play. And the idea, we want everybody to be proud of what we do. And we're all in this together.
I'm your Castleberry community correspondent, Alex Cook, News 6.
That's going to do it for us right now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Have yourself a great night. We'll see you at 11.